Hello and welcome to another edition of the Hitting the Hardwood podcast, your home for all the latest Minnesota Lynx and WNBA news, analysis, and coverage. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I'm your host, Mitchell Hansen, and we're already in the month of June. It's crazy to believe. We're already a quarter of the way through the WNBA season. What a start to the year it's already been. Specifically for the Minnesota Lynx, it's been about as good of a start as it could be for this team. As far as I know they never thought of it internally, but externally the expectations for the team were not as high as last year. Internally, that was the exact opposite, as any team will come into a year with high expectations, but that was especially true for Minnesota. And that has resulted in, as we enter the June 10th week, that includes an 8-3 record, a really nice start to the regular season against some tough opponents as well. So it's been an encouraging start for the Minnesota Lynx. And it's also been an encouraging start to the year for the person who is our podcast guest this week, who is a very special guest. She has not only been, having a stellar year, but she's maybe even having a career year. She's having one of the best shooting starts in the WNBA, one of the best seasons thus far, especially from three. She's coming off, as I'm recording this podcast, she's coming off a two-game stretch where she tied Diana Taurasi for the most three-pointers made in a two-game stretch with 15. That being the one and only veteran guard for the Minnesota Lynx, Kayla McBride. I'm really excited to have Kayla on. First time having her on here on the podcast, on the Hitting the Hardwood podcast. I appreciate K-Mac for taking the time. As you guys know, if you've listened to K-Mac, if you're familiar with her, she's a great interview. She's a very insightful person. She speaks out of the heart, and I really appreciated the time she took to join me on the podcast, talk about the season, talk about her season so far, talk about the Lynx so far, what she has thought about the team in general, the chemistry, the relationships she's built with her teammates, the reason behind the strong start to the year. And then we kind of jump ahead and look ahead to the rest of the year, some of the expectations for the Lynx, and where she thinks this team can go. So without further ado, let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into the podcast with Kayla McBride. K-Mac, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. A little tired. The schedule is crazy, but I'm good. Winning helps everything,
Absolutely.
makes everything a little easier. Going to sleep, waking up, being tired. So yeah, I'm good right now.
Makes the grind worth it, right?
Yeah, for sure. And just the people too.
Yeah.
I think our team has a lot of energy, good energy. So coming into work every day doesn't feel like work.
Mm-hmm.
We really enjoy being around each other, and it's been a good energy.
Well,
So even when you're tired, it makes the hard days easier.
yeah, absolutely. How you talked about the schedule and kind of the season so far. How are you adjusting to that? How are you doing with that? Obviously, you came in right from overseas play, as a lot of other players are doing as well. But you're just kind of jumping right into things, or you guys are all jumping right into things. But how's the schedule been working out so far?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, traveling, especially when you got to go to the West Coast, coming back, the time change. I just try to stay in a routine, even when
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired, making sure I'm coming to the gym, doing the recovery, shooting, getting in the weight room, whatever it is. Trying to get on a schedule. That way I'm not like blindsided by how tired I am or,
Mm-hmm.
the fatigue, because they can catch up to you. Just trying to stay consistent in my routine. I think Cheryl does a good job of kind of gauging if we need to be in the gym or not.
Mm-hmm.
Our staff's been great. So just trying to find a good routine, trying to sleep early. It's hard though, I mean, 3 games, 5 days, 5 games, 8 days, and it's every team in the league right now. So no excuses, just kind of showing up, doing what you can, and on to
Mm-hmm.
the next.
How does it change with your routine specifically as your career progresses? Has anything changed for you in how you go about your day-to-day business?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I think once I hit like 28, 29, after my first year here, I was like, something's got to give. Juicing, I've said this before, has like changed my life. It's something that I do pretty much every day at some point in the day. That's really helped me. And then just being in the weight room, we have a great new strength coach in A-Train Hayden. She's awesome. Came over from Stanford women's basketball. Getting on a routine with her. But it's just more so like doing it even when you're tired, because when you're
Mm-hmm.
24, 25, 26, you can kind of get away with it low key. And now as I'm getting older, in my 30s, I'll be 32 this month. So just trying to get on that consistent time where I'm in the weight room, moving my body, getting stronger, staying strong, staying lean. I think it's really helped my longevity.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just kind of got to enjoy the grind. You got to
Mm-hmm.
really enjoy it. Playing my music, bringing my playlist in, whatever it takes to get through that 30, 40 minutes. And, I usually get the benefits of it, in
Mm-hmm.
the future. So, yeah, it's tough, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, kind of talking a little bit about you. You're obviously off to a great start this season. Not only putting up great numbers from beyond the arc, but just even just the team success that you guys have had so far. If you could talk just a little bit about what's been working well for you personally, as well as what's been feeding into the success of the team.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's just been kind of, I think towards the end of the last season, last 10 games or so, I kind of found my footing, especially with feet. There's just a cohesion that kind of just clicks, and it takes time. And then we got a chance to play with each other overseas. And so when I came back here, I felt very, very confident in what Fee and I had,
Hmm.
but obviously we had a lot of new faces. And what I felt was the energy was great, but also everybody who came in, Land, Port, T, they came in knowing exactly who they were, confident wise. Like everybody has their story of how they got here, and things like that. But I think everybody kind of came in with their own confidence, which allowed me to kind of just find my way because I already had that with feet, but
Hmm.
just with the other new players, just kind of finding my way. So the first couple games, like I struggled just to kind of figure it out. But once I did, I kind of hit the ground running. And like I've been saying, I mean, I play overseas all the time. So I was playing the whole season before I got here. So I felt like I was in game shape and ready. It was just kind of finding my way. And it's happened so organically. Our new pieces have been amazing. It's just kind of been,
Hmm.
it's been what it is.
Hmm.
And we're just a very competitive group, confident in who we are as, individuals. And when we come together, everybody kind of just brings it as themselves. Nobody's doing something else that they have to do. And so when you have that environment, you kind of just seamlessly fit in.
Hmm.
So I think that's just kind of what I've been able to do. I think our assist rate is crazy. So, as a catch and shoot player, that helps. People are looking for me. Of course, always tell me to shoot it, land. Everybody's telling me to, just be myself. And when you have that consistently, that's what you get.
Hmm.
And so for me, I just kind of been feeding off that confidence. But as a whole, I think that people look at the rankings and stuff in the beginning of the season. It's just like, whatever, blowing smoke, whatever. It's none of our business. But I think we kind of took it personal without taking it personal. Like
Hmm.
like for people to say that we were ninth coming in, and I get it, there's a lot of unknowns. But I just think as a collective, uh, we were just like, nah, there's no
Hmm.
way. And, we started off really tough. We started off in Seattle and then Seattle again at home, who was a team that's supposed to be, a contender this year, rightfully so. And I think after that, I think we were just like, oh no, wait, we can do this. Like we're like that. We can do this. And I think we just kind of took that and ran with it.
Hmm.
Very, very confidently. Our anchor has been our defense. But I just think that we're just going out and having fun, playing with a lot of joy, and just trying to compete on every possession. And it's very easy at this level when you have a group that wants to do that and buys into that. So it's been a lot of fun, and I think that we still have more levels to go. But as of these first 11 games, it's been great.
Yeah. One thing that, Cheryl had talked about at the beginning of the year, as well as Fee, and you even mentioned it after the win over Seattle on Sunday, the chemistry of this team. It was, apparent right away that everybody just kind of gelled together really well. Was that the case for you? I know you mentioned that, like I said, in that win over Seattle, the third win of the year against Seattle, but did you have that same experience and it was just kind of a seamless kind of transition, especially with the new faces on the team?
Yeah, I mean, from day one when I walked in, I told coach, I was like, the energy is just different. Like we just have a different energy, a different aura about us. Uh, and like I said, I think it was those first two games, like where we're playing one of the best teams in the league, and we're like consistently proving ourselves. We beat New York, and we had a nail biter with Connecticut, a game I thought we could have won. And I think that that's just kind of been who we're trying to be is somebody who consistently can win hard, tough games. And that's what great teams have to do, especially on your home court. But this league is really, really tough. So to say that you can beat these kind of teams this early in the season, of course, you're looking at it like, okay, well, this is kind of our measuring stick. Like, where are
Hmm.
we? And I still think we have steps that we can take. But as of right now, just the organic chemistry that we've built, it's kind of been seamless. And like I said, I think we're just very, very competitive. Off the court is the same thing. We just kind of get along with each other. It's hard. You don't want to like pinpoint one moment where you're just like, yeah, this works. It just kind
Hmm.
of works,
Yep.
and it's from our staff. It's from everything. It's just the energy that we bring as a collective. Like I said, even on the hard days after the losses, like nobody talks about those things, like how you come into the gym the next day. I think we come in with a mindset of like, nah, we can be better in this way, or let's do this, or let's do that. And it's just been very organic, and that's what I really, really appreciate about this group.
Hmm. You kind of had mentioned it too, in that win over Seattle on Sunday, that one thing that is apparent to you is you're having fun. You're having that joy this season. Not saying that you didn't in past seasons, but that's evident this year. Is this maybe the most fun you've had? Obviously, winning feeds into that. Winning makes things easier, but are you having fun so far this year? And that
Oh,
joy is back?
oh yeah. I mean, you have ups and downs throughout your whole career, right?
Hmm.
You have good moments, bad moments, tough moments, hard moments, great moments. But when you can have that consistent joy, because happiness is like fluctuates, right?
Hmm.
It's hard, it's a grind. You're traveling, you're tired, your body hurts, da 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 da. But when you have that consistent joy, like even in the hard moments, that's when you know like you're in the right spot, right? Like so just trying to find the joy in the little things, in the fact that I get to go to work with great people. And these aren't just great people on the court, but off the court as well. Like I said, I can't speak enough about our staff. I mean, I'm coached by Katie Smith every single day. Like it's sometimes you gotta pinch yourself because you realize that you're like in exactly where you want to be. You're like living one of your dreams. And I think this organization has created that environment to allow players like this group to come in and just kind of flourish. And so I think that it's just been a lot of fun. Um, Figuring it out, because it's not perfect, you know what I'm saying? Like we've had tough moments. Maybe people don't see that, but we have tough moments, practices are tough. Cheryl's getting on us for this, for that. But we still find a way to find the joy. And I think that that's just a testament to the maturity of this group and also like everybody's individual stories because you can't come into a new situation like Court, T, Land have unless you're mature enough and understand yourself enough to kind of fit in. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And so I think to just kind of put those two together is a testament to them and just who they are and who they've become over their careers. So, like I said, it's just been a lot of fun. And when you have that environment, of course you're going to flourish. Of course you're going to have joy. But I just want to continue to have that feeling and continue to see where we can go with this thing.
Hmm. What do you think, if you could maybe pinpoint it on a couple things, what makes this team so special? Is it that chemistry? Is it, being able to mesh? Is it just, the skill set that you have that is has fed into, being at top of the league on kind of on both sides of the on the ball or of the court? What do you think has been or what makes this team so special?
Oh wow.
That's a tough question.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
it is. I think the energy, I think the energy is great, but I think if we're just talking about strictly basketball, I think our defense has been our anchor.
Hmm.
But it's just like our defense has been our anchor and been one of the best in the league. But I think it's where how far our offense can actually go, because I think our defense is something that we know we can count on, our effort, our flying around, our cohesion. But then on the offensive end, when we take that next step, that's when we're really, really good. And so I think that that's something that takes time, to build with new players. Even I know people think like 10 games. We don't practice because we're always playing.
Hmm.
So, when we get in the gym and we're able to, break down things and stuff like that, that's where it continues to grow. But man, we just got some good ass people, excuse my language, but just good, solid human beings.
Hmm.
I mean, if you just look at, Courtney Williams and the things that she's been through in her career, for her to come in and step into a point guard role and, stuff like that takes maturity, that takes confidence, that takes like a special human being to be able to do and go through everything that she's been through and to be able to be here right now and be present and still bring that energy and still be confident. Like players like that, like you want to go to war with them.
Hmm.
Land, she's bounced around early on in her career. T comes from a place where she's been in the finals. She was a point guard for a great team over the last 6 years, 5 years. So now she comes and now has to take on a role of being a backup PG. Like all these things, like these mindsets, but still being able to give of yourself. That makes everything, easier.
Hmm.
When you have players like that are able to just kind of seamlessly fit in. And that's what makes us special. There is no this, that, like one person, it's like the collective. Like, how can we bring each other up? How can we lift each other up? And that's been a lot of fun. That's when it becomes fun. That's when you wanna dive on the floor for your teammate. You wanna help sprint over and pick them up because they're giving of themselves just like you're trying to give for them.
Hmm. Kind of feeding off of that too, it seems like this team, almost every night there's somebody off the bench or somebody, kind of a role player that steps up. If it's BC, stepping in for Diamond in the starting lineup, if it's Ollie coming off the bench, it could be Chechi coming off the bench, anybody. I mean, it seems like it's a new player every night. Is that nice to have that depth and to be able to, to count on at least one person coming off the bench or somebody else stepping up because anybody can really step on it up on any given night.
Oh yeah, we're very, very lucky to have the bench that we do. I think it's one of the best in the league. As far as just experience, like I played in Europe the last 9 years,
Mhm.
and I know Ali, Chechi, Dorka, Bridge, like all these players who have like established themselves and are ballers overseas, like coming in and just kind of, like I said, there's another example of taking on a new role. Like Chechi is Italy,
Mhm.
she represents her country like at the highest level. Like they call her Italian Mamba for a reason. Ollie has played on in the Olympics for France. She's been in those big games, like Dorky fighting for Hungary and stuff like that. Now playing in ski in Italy. Like these are players who have already established themselves in other places that are now coming to our bench, and we are lucky to have them.
Mhm.
I think Ollie yesterday was 14 minutes, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Like the other
Mhm.
game getting 4 steals in 1 quarter. Like that's a testament to them, like who they are, who they've established themselves to be, but also who they want to be for us. And you can't put a price on that. I said this because when I see, okay, I'm checking out and Chechi's coming in, I'm like, okay, well, I know I played with Chechi in front of, like I know what she's about. I know she's a bucket. So like having that confidence when you're sitting down, knowing that somebody's just as capable to do what you've been doing, it's it's a luxury, in this league. So I'm very, very thankful for our bench. I think they've held it down for us, and they've won us a lot of games just by their consistency and their ability to just kind of step in and do what needs to be done when we take a break. So it's been awesome.
Mhm. Cheryl had talked about at the beginning of the year, leading up to the year, I think it was before the preseason, of expectations for this team. She said not only do we, have the same expectations that we had last year, but we want to build off of what we built on last year. For this team, I know it's still early. We're about a quarter of the way through the season, but what are your expectations for this team, and what do you think this team could accomplish?
Oh man, uh, the ninth place thing, like it always blows me in the beginning of the season. I never feel like that. I didn't feel like that last year, even with our new pieces this year. And then this year is like, whoa, like we dropped
Hmm.
with our new pieces, which is crazy. And now we're sitting at 8-3. What, one fourth, which is crazy because I feel like we played so many games. Uh, and the ceiling for us is literally where we decide we want to go. I think we've been battle tested early on in the season, which is great. But now it's about like consistently showing up because it's a long season filled with, bumps, bruises, wins, losses, hard times, good times. And I'm curious to see how we're gonna battle through the adverse parts of the season. Obviously, we have a huge Olympic break, but a lot of our players are going to play.
Hmm.
Cheryl won't be here, stuff like that. So like staying engaged and stuff like that. I think that that's gonna be our next test. But I'm really really excited. I think we have all the pieces to make a run in the playoffs and things like that, which is so far away. We have so many things we have to do. But just speaking out loud, speaking to your question, I think we have everything that we need to be successful. It's just how far we want to take it and how willing we are to give of ourselves to be the best version of the team that we can.
Hmm. Well, cool. Well, K-Mac, I really appreciate you joining.
Appreciate it.
It's been a blast watching you so far, and hopefully we can continue to see more and wish you success the rest of the way.
Thank you so much. I
All right.
appreciate it.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Once again, thank you to Kayla for joining the podcast. As I mentioned, and as you just heard, Kayla is a great interview. She's a great person to chat with. I think I could have talked to her for the next 2 hours, but I wanted to be kind to her time and respectful of her time because I know she is very busy right now in the heart of the season, getting ready for different games, and also helping stay on this impressive start to the year for her personally, as well as with the team in general as they continue to move along in the WNBA season, leading up to the Olympic break, and hopefully they can continue the hot stretch going into that break and for the rest of the regular season. I also want to give a shout out, as I do every week, to Jeremy Rushing for producing this podcast. Really appreciate Jeremy and all the work he does in the back end, making sure this podcast gets to you every other week. Really appreciate everything he does. Thank you, Jeremy, for all your contributions to Hitting the Hardwood. I also want to give, before we get into our sponsors here, I want to provide you a little bit of information that you saw on social media recently. I shared it via our newsletter and kind of everything, any other communication channel that you can find us. We are starting to do weekly power rankings here at Hitting the Hardwood. So every Monday you can expect weekly power rankings. You can find that on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can find that by signing up for our newsletter. You'll get that Hitting the Hardwood power rankings into your email inbox for free every week, every Monday. And it's just something additional that I started to do here this regular season in providing my own power rankings each week. So you can find that out or find information about that, find the latest version. Like I said, drops every Monday. You can find that at patreon.com/hitting the hardwood. That is free, unlocked for everybody. So go check that out at patreon.com/hitting the hardwood. Along with that, you can also join our Patreon community. You can become a patron at patreon.com/hitting the hardwood. That's where you'll get not only the power rankings, as I mentioned, you'll get newsletters every Wednesday. You'll get other exclusive content, any piece of content that I write or the Hitting the Hardwood team provides. You'll get that via email. Like I said, you get a lot of exclusive information. You get discounts at the Hitting the Hardwood store. You get content that you don't get anywhere else. I try to provide some valuable content for our patrons to make your investment worth it. And it's not a big investment. It's less than a cup of coffee a month. So if you could, anything you can do to support Hitting the Hardwood via our Patreon page, really appreciate it. You can go try a 7-day free trial, test it out, see how you like it. And if you do, like I said, it's very cheap to be able to sign up for a membership. And I promise I'll make it worth it with the exclusive content that we do provide. With that said, I want to give one last shout out to our sponsors, as I do every week, Better Edge and Homage. Start with Better Edge. Better Edge you guys are very familiar with these two sponsors now. They've been sponsors of Hitting the Hardwood since day one. But Better Edge is a betting platform, Minneapolis-based company. The guys are great there. You can really do anything on the Better Edge app. You can come bet against me with WNBA action, games every night. You can do pick'em leagues. You can bet against friends. You can do really anything else you can do on any other betting platform, but Better Edge just does it better. And you can go check them out at betteredge.com, bettor.com. If you're a first-time user, you go to betteredge.com/links. Use the promo code LYNX, LYNX. And if you're a first-time user, you get $20 in free play. So please go check them out. Please support Better Edge because they have supported Hitting the Hardwood since day one, as I mentioned, and they're just a great company who do a lot to elevate women's sports and to elevate the sports landscape in general. The other one is Homage. Homage is a vintage clothing store. They do a lot of great stuff. I have a few of their clothing items myself. It's some of the comfiest gear that you can possibly get. But they do, main WNBA gear. They do the main WNBA logo T-shirt. They do each individual team's logos, sweatshirts, T-shirts, you name it, and you can find it at Homage. You can also find other sports. You can find vintage WNBA gear. I know somebody that last season had purchased a Detroit Shock throwback shirt. So there's a lot of great stuff, and they're always doing promos. They're always doing specials. So please go check out Homage, HOMAGE.com. With that said, I want to thank you for tuning into another episode of Hitting the Hardwood. I hope you appreciated the conversation with Kayla McBride this week. And we will continue on in this WNBA season. We'll continue on here in the month of June, which is hard to believe. We're already in June. We're less than a month away from the 4th of July. Before we know it, the Olympic break will be here, and we'll have a little time off before games resume again. But it's been a fun year so far. I look forward to continue to cover it. I continue to look forward to continue to provide you this podcast. And I really appreciate you guys following along, whether it's written content, audio here via the podcast, or in other forms if you follow me on social media or whatever it may be. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Enjoy another week of WNBA basketball, and I will talk to you next time.